Hench. Bring it back. Yo, what up, Prime Minister? On Earth days, the gods smoke weed and call it high day. Roach blunts on New Year's Eve keeps me off the highway. Seeing drunk drivers crash landing in a ditch the way it shines. He just some D's on that bitch. 1,000 a pop, plus the tree tore up the rag top. Not for his life, but for the car. I saw this fag drop to his knees praying. Blacks have messed up priorities. 34 plus years old, telling you to sitting on keys. Telling women to drop it like garbage on the corner. Or shake it like salt and pepper, but you're in church tomorrow. Praying to white Jesus, your breath smells like Gin Seagram's. You're bathing in cause he died for your sins. If Jesus is a Jew, why does he have a Greek name? I'm asking you, why does the Pope wear a Jewish yarmulke? Things sound strange, this world is messed up. In diamonds and 2 earrings, black men are dressed up. Walking on the ancestors' blood and say it's a red carpet. Come around here playing your big and become a target. I'm bringing back to those days when we would threaten DJs, saying they're pro Toronto but not giving no airplay. Unless you're a rude boy speaking in Bacardi slang. No matter how much you email, they reply hardly, man. On November 06, I received an email about too much backlog. They did receive my tracks, but it shouldn't take that long. It's not 2-7, I haven't heard crime, but I heard Pretty Ricky talk sex about 50 times. I heard booty 20 plus times, rims and censorships on every track. These slaves talk about so much whips. Who wants to be a blood, a sellout, or a crip? Sign the dotted line when you rhyme so you can rep that shit. That's what they tell you. To hell they'll send you. Dumb black's energy is on the devil's menu. Cause they think it's physical, but it's all spiritual. No snow till January, cramp heart with rituals. Shrines with Khalid Muhammad holding the AK. You would think I'm coming clean when my mind spray. If I wanted to be with thought power, I say, with eyes closed in meditation, abracadabra or ashe. It's been years since I've been to a party. Drunk off chartreuse or coke with Bacardi. Speaking to bounces and slurs, tripping over my words. Calling girls chicken but still flip cops the bird. Stumbling around this concrete jungle. No more time, I took an oath and swore to be humble. Hey yo, I got them sick thoughts to make you rise drastically. I got them hot thoughts to make you rise drastically. I got them sick thoughts to make you rise drastically. I got them hot thoughts to make you rise drastically. Hey yo, we bust the vortex like concrete to boots vortex. Listening to Flow 93.5 just gets me more vexed. But it's something I must deal with, like slavery and whites. Raping the black woman and man in the day all night. Stomping on babies to grape juice, mentally they rape you today. It wasn't physical so far back in the day. That was only 500 plus years ago. Moorish shaman, not Zulu like Mutua Credo. Scarborough, reppin' Scarborough since the Tobago. Call me Negro and I turn charger from San Diego. No matter what your name is, you could be nameless. When you know your melanin self, our time is ageless. Our spiritual self is shapeless. But on the shelf, you got some hook nose like God outside of yourself. So-called or proclaimed by Nicene bishops. I'll get on armed soldiers or warfield marshals and councils of bishops. Enough, that's just the sight of us that'll make you hiccup. Just like unsophisticated driving us behind trucks pickup. When I show slave pictures, stomach acid, you're gonna spit up. Make the devil drop to his knees and the God lift up. Hey yo, I got them sick thoughts to make you rise drastically. I got them hot thoughts to make you rise drastically. I got them sick thoughts to make you rise drastically. I got them hot thoughts to make you rise drastically.
This place has everything. Come on, I'll show you.
Initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious. Ali is happy when Moors are happy. Vixens wink fake lashes trying to trap me. 40 days and nights battling the lower demons. This is not the land, hybrids can't be freemen. If this is not their land, who's the immigrant thinking they're sovereign? Imagination figment, recessive is their status. luminous, lacking pigment. Game for the Thanksgiving, but no commitment to indigenous Moors they conquered with Bibles, signs in the vitals and signs in the cycles, only to strangle, embracing my rivals. Free national standards, not playing with the tribals. Each Moor is their own Christ, not disciples. Whether hands or thoughts, no worshiping idols. Always carry my Moorish Quran, no recitals. Everyone will not process ancients' arrivals. Initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious.
Innate mystic ability to show and prove a lesson, coupled with the agility to move you with the message. Presence of divine mind to navigate you with a reference, urgent with a purpose, perfect. Emergent urban legends, real more is not a question or a choice or a preference. You are who you are, you should have the same obsession. Broke the same jewels to a dude, the corner Jane and Western. What you reppin', all that effort, that direction keep you separate in a world of blind sheep. I was born to be a shepherd, mind like an elephant. Got the paws of a leopard, means I'm wise and I'm strong. Crank you up like I'm a record, take you to the body shop. Correct your lines to true vector manifestations. Matter, energy, and mind, spirit men unsung. Trey Young dropping dimes. Until you tighten up, you catching splinters from the pine. Clean the clouds out your thoughts, that's what keep you in the bind.
Initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious.
This is all 9 lives, synchronized in perfect step, time after time, averting certain death before you leave. Must relieve karmic debt, which beget this war within us. RC-Tech best, dust off records, our forebearers left. Put the needle to the groove, return to their mindset. Download begins, rewind cassette. Time is death, so then kill your clocks. This the will of Allah, filling you all to the rim, and then some till it spills and it falls over all facets of the masses. Transactions composed in maxims, revising your cannons. Drove past heaven, it was littered with abandoned mansions where adverse possessed like 5 or 6. Gave them back the addresses. I got family moving in. Forget the madness, let the reversion begin.
True Ali the mastermind, other leaders asinine. Never dropping facts, use emotions to pass the time. Never make it on my shrine. Kundalini up the spine, halo glow to aftershine. Make you see the sign of times. Beeline to bloodline, Aquarian age flood mines. Rhyme like a plumb line. Sometimes it's bud time. Rock mid-range deadly, all around the foul line. Playback on front line. Moorish is my guideline. Step and cause a fault line. Throw your service offline. Watch them get outshine. Cross me like a state line. Get cut like a break line. F.U. and your concubine. Strangle with a fishing line. When I help is genuine. Always from the heart. All chakras are intertwined. Self you must redefine. More from the civil line. Not the clandestine. Stake a vamp at chest line. Sun stay stationary. Shadow left behind. Say you don't want to. Not that you have no sign. See good in everything and how you must train the mind. Give out some love and find peace sublime. Water and the key lime keeps the body alkaline. Law should remain divine, not too much maritime. Get all 13 journals of the Moorish paradigm. Israelites from Saraline. My path is the narrow line. Thought you had the upper hand. I saw it like a tarot line.
I'm painting with the big P in game 6. Unity about as crucial as game 6 of the finals. I'm glowing like I won the title, but Ellen Bader noble titles. Don't worship humans, that's a false idol. Heavenly vibes coming from my recital. Middle fingers to connivers and instigators. The truth to revive you like the liberators. So this a pump to the chest. Utilize what's useful and throw away the rest. My vegan ways have put the beef to rest. My calling got directed like receptionists. So think mother every time you see a crest. The Moors is here to put that bullshit to rest. So think mother every time you see a crest. The Moors is here to bring that bullshit to rest.
When I step in the center, they can tell I'm a winner, live my life right. Thank God, I'm not a sinner, live my life like I'm passing through time. Disastrous crimes, you killing up my people. I'm asking your back, that's why you feeling the energy rise. Because we open the eyes, we see the open skies and all them cop picking lies. That's how I battle enemies. I be using my energy. I move like the centipede in the mirror, see tending me. Pay attention to tendencies, trying to mess up the chemistry. We can be one big family. I do it for the nation. How many gon' stand with me? I got the prophet up front and you're mad at me. Can't love a man that look like you, but it's sad to see. I'm just acting like the children watching and it has to be. Nationality got me feeling like a dad to beat. Grass sheep provide the beat and I just had to bring the heat. Khalifa society, Canaanland Moorish connection. Rise of the Moors.
This is what it feels like. 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 People running up to me that I don't know. Are you a prince? They ask, tell them I'm from Morocco. Look me up and down with a smile, not a frown. Turn their brain to water, watch the lower self drown. Wanna touch my antennas and steal my energy. Eyes bulge, telling them I'm always King Edward V. When it comes to facts, with Moors they get beggarly. They ask Morocco where? The farthest northwesterly. With every question asked, I respond cleverly. All dependents won't explain expertly. Going in their wallets, pull out pictures with feathers, breaking down the ring, then the mason confesses. He's at 33 degrees, now the convo stretches like yoga into esoteric metaphysic lessons. When my people aren't like me, he impresses. When we take Moorish science to the highways and hedges. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
They tried to get you to think again. That's the prophet. I'm upright, don't need a friend. And you can't stop this. I'ma write with my pen. Violate me and I'ma send writs again. Remain cautious, cause often they sin again. That's in the police out, just the silence men. When they bust through your door, you won't breathe again. Nationality will show you how to live again. It can change the predicament you're living in. You can heal the whole world without medicine. Only truth can make you a better man. Why lie? Cause you got paid to murder men. Then you try to lock them up when they riot in. That's okay, cause for freedom I'm diving in.
This is what it feels like. 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 People running up to me that I don't know. Are you a prince? They ask, tell them I'm from Morocco. Look me up and down with a smile, not a frown. Turn their brain to water, watch the lower self drown. Wanna touch my antennas and steal my energy. Eyes bulge, telling them I'm always King Edward V. When it comes to facts, with Moors they get beggarly. They ask Morocco where? The farthest northwesterly. With every question asked, I respond cleverly. All dependents won't explain expertly. Going in their wallets, pull out pictures with feathers, breaking down the ring, then the mason confesses. He's at 33 degrees, now the convo stretches like yoga into esoteric metaphysic lessons. When my people aren't like me, he impresses. When we take Moorish science to the highways and hedges. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
They tried to get you to think again. That's the prophet. I'm upright, don't need a friend. And you can't stop this. I'ma write with my pen. Violate me and I'ma send writs again. Remain cautious, cause often it's in again. That's in the police out, just the silence men. When they bust through your door, you won't breathe again. Nationality will show you how to live again. It can change the predicament you're living in. You can heal the whole world without medicine. Only truth can make you a better man. Why lie? Cause you got paid to murder men. Then you try to lock them up when they riot in. That's okay, cause for freedom I'm diving in. With no knowledge, you come back to die again. Resurrect me not, cause I'd rather be one with Allah.
This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Race. It's based on status. A black person who comes here from Nigeria or Jamaica or Brazil, they're not owed a penny from America. They chose to come here. We are talking about the people who are freedmen, the descendants of people emancipated by this country. We still know those people because you are one of those people. I am one of those people. A lot of those people here in the audience, I just told you I could break down my genealogy. My dear Nana was 101 when she died. My great-grandfather just died 3 weeks ago. He was 100. He remembers fighting alongside white veterans in World War II. He remembers coming back and seeing his white veterans get homes and lands and pensions and the door being slammed in his face. And we are going to say that America that says liberty and justice for all, that's okay, get over it, keep it moving, while we have to hear never forget for everyone else's tragedy. And as far as from where reparations will come, I need people to stop thinking is going to come from their tax dollars. Look at all the trillions that America spends right now. We talk about inflation, the invisible tax. We have something called the PPP loans. Do we remember the PPP loans? America spent $6 trillion on PPP loans. You know what they just did? They canceled all of it. And we didn't even know. America gave the corporations, the banks alone, $29 trillion. You know what they did with that? They canceled all of it. So let's stop acting as if America is as hamstrung by debt as they want to pretend. Because when America wants to pay for something, they find a way to do it. And truth be told, the corporations, again, aren't hurting. The defense manufacturers aren't hurting. It's only Americans who are hurting. And that is a choice. We all know it's a choice. That's why we're running for office, because we know this country can do better. So I refuse to accept that this country can't do right by a people they've wronged for centuries. And I refuse to accept that any justice-minded person thinks that's the right thing to do.
But I'll say that that's the best explanation that I've heard of that. So thank you for that.
Reparation is not based on race. It's based on status. A black person who comes here from Nigeria.
Islam to all the Moors. Honors to Noble Drew Ali. Because if this is based on status, that has nothing to do with race. This is based on status. And then he just called you black. He just called you black. Remember, that's a lie. Because black's not an African status. Black didn't come from over there. Black's not an over there thing. Black's what people here got it with. Because everywhere else in the world, everybody knows who the Moors are. And not playing with these name games and calling them all this other stuff and their great grandma and all this. They're not going there. These people, or they're dark skinned or they're Moors. If they're dark skinned, they're Moors. So if you're talking about status, You don't want to be in the black status. That's not where it's at. Anybody who's playing you going down that road, especially if they look like you, beware of the agendas. Everything's against you. Knowing who you are. You think it's about some other stuff. Everything's about you not knowing who you are. Why do you think there's so much distractions? Because they want you to be diverted from who you are. Okay. The status has nothing to do with race. He's exactly right. But as soon as he said black, he just threw everything out the window. Everything out the window.
Nigeria or Jamaica or Brazil, they're not all the penny from America. They chose to come here. We are talking about the people who are freedmen, the descendants of people emancipated by this country. We still know those people because you are one of those people. I am one of those people. A lot of those people here in the audience, I just told you I could break down my genealogy. My dear Nana was 101 when she died. My great-grandfather just died 3 weeks ago. He was 100. He remembers fighting alongside white veterans in World War II. He remembers coming back and seeing his white veterans get homes and lands and pensions and the door being slammed in his face.
Why? Because they picked the black status. You want to play black games. You want to play, we're going to fight for the country and all that stuff. Played themselves, right? Played themselves. And then in 93, which is, this is their records. This is not what Moors say. This is their records. Congressional records. Since they want to play status games and tell you about America did something to you. And America with a triple K, they really did something to you. Or the white man did something to you. Or United States, the government needs to give us. Remember, this is their records. This is not what Morrissey. It is an established fact that the United States federal government has been dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act, March 9th, 1933. What year are we in right now? No, they're still saying that they're United States government and federal and states and governors. They're still talking like that. You know what 1933 was? What year is it now? What do you say? U.S. what? They just won in the Olympics for the basketball? Or that the dissolved people just won? The dissolved people won. Remember, this is not what Moores say. This is in the congressional records. That the Emergency Banking Act, March 9th, 1933, dissolved the United States federal government. So that what you're seeing and talking about and assuming is United States federal government. No, it's not. Because that stuff been dissolved, declared by President Roosevelt, being bankrupt and insolvent. Why are they still counting on the debt clock and all that stuff? Why are they still doing that if these people have been bankrupt and insolvent since 1933? Interestingly, they got Noble Drew Ali out the way in 1929 And ever since then, you've been black, begging this U.S. and Canada Corps to give you some stuff. And then don't get it and don't realize that it's because they're saying you're black. That's why they're not hearing you. That's why they're not hearing you. That's why they're not hearing you. Joint resolution to suspend the gold standard and abrogate the gold clause dissolved the sovereign authority of the United States and the official capacities of all United States governmental offices, officers, and departments, and is further evidence that the United States federal government exists today in name only. That was 93. 93. It was put on their record. And it's still in the record today. So they didn't remove anything and all that stuff. Oh yeah, U.S. Congressional Record, Volume 33, page H1303. So you can go check. Stuff exists in name only. And of course, if he's running for Congress in the stuff that exists in name only, well, no wonder they're saying black and white and grandmas and all that. No wonder. They're there to pacify. And the people will be pacified. They will be. Just because they want it. Return to Moore's earlier on the IG. If Johnny Carson has Carmack the Magnificent, Moorish cape and all that, what are you waiting for, really? You really think this is nothing? You really think it's not pushed in your face? But you're blacked out through whitewash. Blacked out. These people play their little games with you people. Stop getting played. You're not fed up getting played? You really not fed up getting played? How much more playing do you have to get? Let's see what we got today. Peace and love. My question is, how do you keep going through all the backbiting, the sellouts, traders, etc.? How? I am not anywhere near your level of knowledge in this movement, and I myself have firsthand had to deal with the BS coming from our own within this uplifting of fallen humanity. What continues to drive and motivate you to keep stepping, for lack of better terms? Honestly, it's really that Moor with the walker. Roll of the story. There's a Moor who could have got a ride to the temple, and he turned down the ride because he's going to make his meetings. So it doesn't matter. He doesn't need a ride. He already has his plan. He knows what he's doing. He has a walker though, like not like the wheels one, the one where you have to move it. So we go do something and get back to the temple. Moore's just there, and first person there for their meeting is the Moor with the walker. So if this Moor with the walker could make his meeting, and this is first ever interaction with Moorish Science Temple, Moorish whatever in person, right? In the building, looking around, seeing it for the first time and all that. And then there's this Moor with the walker that was the first to be at the meeting. I don't know anything about anything, but we saw this Moor down there somewhere. It wasn't like around the corner. Like it was down there, and we're at the temple, and then this Moor comes in with his walker. First one there. How is he so interested in this? That he has a walker and he's the first one here. People have the V whatever engine, whatever like that, 0 to 200 and all that stuff, and they can't even make their meetings. But this Moor with a walker. I was like, no, I have to be like this Moor with the walker. That's how this is for me. You know what I mean? I thought they could come out and say Drew Ali did whatever. I don't care. Right? This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. There's no budging. And just because it's right and exact. It's right and exact. And whoever doesn't want it, that's cool. You know what I mean? You don't have to have it. Just make sure you fix make sure I get my to-go plate and all that stuff with all the greens that nobody doesn't want over there. Just give me my plate. Oh yeah, and here's your bottle of whatever for your Christmas or whatever. Since you play in those realms, just make sure I get my plate right there. Yeah, 2 cornbreads. I'll see you next year. Right? And then in 2 years, same people with the cornbread, they're gonna come to you. Hey, remember when? Remember when you said about remember when you said about the shot and then not getting the shot and all that stuff? Well, I was doing some research or whatever like that, and then you were right. You were right about that. Did you hear about the whatever? And then they try to put you on to something now as if you don't know already. Stop it. Stop. I told you 2 years ago. The hell you listened to me 2 years ago, you wouldn't be in issues right now. And that's what they don't like. That they get it back. It's just the law of the universe. That's why we just have to, be the Moor who Drew Ali looked and said, hey, there's a Moor doing right. Be that Moor. Right. That's how I keep going. Because it's the ritual. It's the ritual. when you look around, Drew Ali should be looking at you so you could keep yourself in order. Now, Drew Ali should be places that you look and you just get the look. You just see all the pictures, he just has that look. If only a more would do right, I'll be surprised. Every picture. If only more do right face. So I say that if it's like that, let me at least be this more. Let me just be this more. When I look and he's looking, he sees me doing something worthy. Right? Because you have to keep going. Because I'm not going back to black. And then I'm not gonna do like all the other leader people, and then they play that martyr stuff for the people, for these ungrateful bastards over here who don't honor their own. So we're not doing the martyr stuff either. Right? No, we're not going there either. We're just gonna be over here doing our thing. You know, you get the tap on the shoulder. You answer a question. You know, if it gets deeper, you give them a website. You know, and then you go right back to behind the veil and doing whatever it is you're doing, so that you and your posterity could be happy in this realm of madness and deception. Right? That's why you keep going. You know, and yeah, it's a lot of BS. It's a lot of BS, but all of it. And again, you know, then we go into the astrology and all that stuff, and you have, you know, certain signs, you know, that have stuff to use. You know, when they get mad, they want to grab stuff, and they want to strike and all that stuff. So, you know, I know it's because it's supposed to be a certain way because of where we're at in the mental. Where we're at in the mental, everything else supposed to be okay. Hold on a second. How come everything isn't in harmony with where? Oh, all right, then I get it. You know, this is the realm of learning and knowledge, and everybody's at their spot. So you just got to get with ones on your level, and you'll be all right. You know, and then whoever's going to catch up is going to catch up. Whoever's ahead, then, you know, it's all about catching up to them. But we just keep going. Keep going so we could, you know, pay our dues, get out of here, and do work where there's problems that we can solve. But we can't solve problems here. This is insane. This is insane. Because in this realm, the real reality is there's no problem. That's if there's no problem, then what we solve it? We're good. You know, because you could use the mind here, right? Like more. There's Moors who they found out they're Moors, and their life hasn't been better. Just because they found out that they're Moors. You know, because they bumped into this Moor, or they saw a Moor somewhere, or they heard a Moor talk, and it inspired them. You know, we're it. Not, you know, we're not the prophet, but, you know, there had to be some Moors who were really down with the prophet. He couldn't have been alone like that. There had to be some Moors, you know. There had to be. You know, had to be an inner circle. Because things stayed in circulation. We still have access to literature because they did a number in trying to obliterate Noble Drew Ali. And the fact that we're here now with this stuff from 100 years ago. Now we got it. Stuff was around 100 years ago. Now we have it. Oh, at that point, BS and all that stuff is just, that's just dead horses. We're just, walking around. You might pass one, you might slap one just because. Or if you use the analogy zombie, those are the zombies that are just stuck walking into the fence and just keep walking. You just walk by and you just jab them in the eye just because, because we're it, you're it, I'm it, she's it, he's it. The ones who know the truth about their nationality birthrights and they study and this is part of them. It's definitely where we want to be. And all the BS and all that stuff, that's just target practice and all that. That's just a can down there. You're just testing your thing, you're just testing it out just to see, That's gonna be there. I remember Drew Ali said it's only gonna be a handful of saves, so there's a whole hand that they just don't count. They just don't count. It'll surprise me if a Moor would do right. What kind of madness was Moors doing with Noble Drew Ali around if he has to say that? It's hard. Damn crack screen. Damn crack screens. But that was a good one. That was a good one. I have listened to some online MSTAs as well as most recent Enforce the Constitution. I noticed you had 3 letters and others only read 1 letter to be proclaimed. Why is that? I don't know. I just know that there's 3 letters. So we read the 3 letters because each of the letters say to be read every meeting. Well, 2 letters say to be read every meeting, and 1 says to members of Moorish Science Temple. So, we're if you're a temple member, then we're gonna read that to you. And then the other 2, we just gotta read those because he said read them. Whoever doesn't like it, then letters probably about them. And then people were avoiding reading certain ones because if you let's just say, let's just check. Because I didn't know if he's a prophet, then he got people before they thought they got him. So the one that they usually read is the one with flashing the cards with the Europeans and the standard one. So this to be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. And isn't that what they're doing? Isn't there a host of jealousy about the prophet? Everybody wants to be the man. Nobody wants to give him his honors. Right? The same people on our side of the nation that claims a joke and unreal. I'll tell you about some FBI papers and direct you to the FBI's website, not to Moors who wrote about it. And direct you to the FBI website for you to go research what was already researched by Moors. But they're not gonna go there, right? Because those are people on our side of the nation. And then they don't talk to them. How come? What's the issue? They realize they don't have any issue. Just a damn hater. They've been hating on Noble Juali. It's just recently they start talking about Noble Juali. These people never talk about Noble Juali. You have 14 years of Noble Juali days. These people do nothing for Noble Juali. But they're using his picture and all that. Using stuff that he said, they don't rep for him. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. Why not? You have to know that he set it up for you. Set it up for you. It is through the faithful Moors. The faithful Moors. It's through them. Through those Moors. How come them? Why the faithful? Why not the unfaithful? Because they're trustworthy. They're loyal. They're going to be for this Moorish movement and Noble Juali before anything else. That attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. Uplifting funds. And then there's Moors that are paying their dues. However that is, however it's paid, whatever the exchange is, There's Moors who are most definitely are giving to the Moors. So the Moors can have something. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. Right, be these Moors. There's another reason to keep going. Be the ones that pay their divine respect to the prophet and the movement. Be those Moors. Don't worry about being the consulate, whatever, and the head of the don't worry about being that. Be a Moor that pays divine respect to Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish movement. Be that Moor. Before you be some whatever else out here. Before you be grand whatever. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. Never. Never. Calling them out to their face. Right? Calling them out to their face. To shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. He's talking about them. The traitors on the inside that were trying to get him out his own stuff. The traitors who murdered people and tried to set up Noble Drew Ali like he did it, and that didn't work. And when he got released, all they could do now is murder him, because now he's coming for their head, because their plan didn't work. They said, forget that. Murder him. And then control the Moorish movement, because there's no profit. Because the people weren't studying, they were playing Jesus with Noble Drew Ali. But there was a select few who knew what the truth is about the nationality and birthrights. Noble Drew Ali transition, all those pieces scattered in different directions, calling themselves different stuff. And then now you look at what we have, and you just have all these different whatever they call themselves out there. When we're supposed to be just one, because we were one back then, you know. So you could see why, you know, why they wouldn't read some of these. Because it's calling them out. Calling them out. And this one was for the members. Because majority of them, the people who are talking BS about Moorish Science Temple and all that stuff, but they're using Drew Ali's imagery. Right? Because they're not being specific and saying, oh, that temple, like what we do. We let you know who we're talking about. They just make some vague statements about who's doing what in the Moorish movement, opposed to calling out the traitors. If you're saying that there's traitors, if there's infiltration, then who are these people? Because we already know who they are. Right? Because we're members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We've been got the letters. Islam, this is the instruction from your prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near. So says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And over the years, we read this over and 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 over again. So it sticks. Were the Sumerians black? There's no black people. The Sumerians are Moors. Sumer, M-E-R. Sumer. Sumerian is a Sumer. So S-U-M-E-R. That's more. M-E-R is more. So we're not talking about black people. We're talking about melanated people. High concentrations of melanin. Right? You can say olive. Say that tone. We're not going to say black. So yeah, we know about the Sumerians and all that. You're not going to hate on some Sumerians. That's our people. All that is our people. We're claiming all that. Why should we let somebody else claim it? One more. With love being our first principle, what would you suggest to not feel like murdering people for whatever reason. Just it's ignorance, stupidity. They murdered one of our people in the street. They like, what? How do you not just go out there and do stuff? Going back to the martyr thing and learn from, because unless I'm gonna get taken out too, like I'm not gonna go do that to go be on the run forever or something. You know, if that's done, nobody's knowing that it's done, and whoever it is, they just disappear. But is that the life to want to leave? Murdered one guy who did some BS. Then here comes some other people doing BS right after this one guy that he murdered. Those people talk crazy, you know, because it's online. So yeah, they're gonna say, "Oh man, if that was my mom that they did that too, then I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna beat them in the head with a bat, and beat their mom with a bat, and beat their dad with a bat, and beat their children, and kill their dog." And please, if that's the case, you do that to anybody out here. As soon as you see somebody, you just do it because anybody should be able to get it. If it's like that, if it's gonna take, 500 children to go missing, nah, you're not gonna fight anybody. Oh, but when yours goes missing, oh, now you're Hulk. Now you're Hulkamania. Please, save it. If you're gonna go hard, then just do it anytime. Just like the people who just say, just go into place and push the button. It's like that. And then again, it goes back to, you have to go too, because you're not gonna go do some madness and then what? Sit in the cell for life thinking about it. Like if we're gonna go that hard, then I'm going out too. I'm not gonna stay here after that. For what? But the main thing is I'm not doing the martyr thing. I've seen too many people do that, and our people are ungrateful bastards. They're gonna carry your casket and all that stuff, and then after you're in the ground, they're done. They forgot about you. They're going back to their porn and all that. They care less about you. Right. I know that's just their conditioning. That's where the people are at. That's where people are at. Everybody's in a different place. Why are the scholars hiding the history of this land being Morocco? It goes back to all their narratives that they set up. They set up all these narratives, right? They didn't know that the information age and all that stuff, and they didn't think it would be like this. People not brainwashed, and they're actually seeking information and all that stuff, unearthing all types of different information and all that. They didn't expect that. Plan kind of backfired because some more take studying serious and researching and all that. People who are scholars, all of them know. Like I couldn't have these volumes of a book. I couldn't have all these different authors if these other people don't have them too. Like no way. Because all the stuff that I read, everything's leaning on us being Aboriginal, Indigenous, and all that. You know, the black thing is just what that was just thrown in there to try to get people. You know? And the Panthers, they were constitutionalists. They weren't black guys. They were enforcing Constitution. That's what their whole stuff was about. They weren't emotional black people marching or whatever like that. That was rights they were exercising. They were going to a tribunal and quasi court and kangaroo court and every other court as themselves. They weren't hiring no lawyers. Why weren't they hiring lawyers? Why are they doing it on their own? Because they studied the law. When we were coming up there, the Panthers studied law. They said marching and picketing and black fists and all that stuff. They didn't explain stuff. They're just riding on it with some emotionalism. When you stop and you do your research, you realize that, hold on a second, if we can find out that over here is Egypt and nobody's going to dispute it. You know, America's Egypt? Oh yeah, I heard about that before, you know, or whatever. And they may bring up some people or whatever. You know, they don't debate it. So if they're not gonna debate over here is Egypt, then how could they debate over if over here has a Nile River? Now, in our mind, we hear Nile River and we just think over there. Okay, no, but there's a Nile River over here. So there's a Nile River over here. There's an Egypt over here. Then what do you mean? What do you mean over here is not Morocco? It's everything else. Going back to this thing about wanting to be everybody except the Moors. Just as when they make reference point, talk about every other people except the Moors. Talk about everywhere being called something except Morocco. Talk about every other empire except the Moroccan one. And again, this is not like a hard to figure out thing. There has to be a blockage with our people. There has to be a blockage. That's the only way. The only way. This is not that hard to get. This is not that hard to find. Again, especially with the time that we're living in where information is everywhere. You are exempt from saying you don't know in this day and age. You can't say you don't know. If you say don't know, then you're in trouble. You're in super duper trouble. Super duper trouble. Chalk it up. Yeah, they're gonna, they're not gonna talk about it. That's why Moors have to talk about it. And honors to the Moors who talk up. Honors to the Moors who put Morocco on their mail. And the stuff gets where it's going when they put Morocco on it. Honors to the Moors who always ask the Pale Arabs. Maghreb al-Aqsa. Yeah, Morocco. Mm. Honors to the Moors who keep it alive, you know, through their words, works, and deeds, and their will. Let's check if there was any others. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. The honorable honors to you. Honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors to all the mothers. Love and peace, Moors. Don't forget, riseofthemoors.org. Get updated on what's going on, where the Moors will be at the last unity jump off. That Mecca was pretty interesting. We're popping off near Georgia, November. riseofthemoors.org. And don't forget, right here, tomorrow night, Sons of Allah. Third Thursday creeps up on you. Third Thursday creeps up on you. Supreme honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam to all the Moors.